to Wemby. Wemby tries a three, puts it up, off the mark. Anunoby the rebound. It's over. It's over. Knicks fans, this is not a dream. Your long, long wait has ended. Go ahead and cry. After 53 years, the Knicks are finally NBA champions once again.
Welcome back to maybe the most amazing edition of Knicks for Clicks. The one that we've been waiting for, the one that I think you and I believed could happen. Last night, I smashed a couple of pizzas. I had too many drinks.
A couple of pizzas? What is that supposed to mean? A couple of pizzas?
A couple of nice size pizzas.
Not a single pizza? A couple.
No,
okay.
No.
I thought you were going to say slices. I mean,
no,
I was up. Pizzas?
I was up until 4 a.m. I imagine you were up later. It's amazing that I didn't vomit in the workout class this morning.
You did a workout class?
I was boxing this morning, and it's amazing I did not vomit. And I made some very irresponsible purchases last night. I'm going to have many T-shirts and memorabilia from this championship. But I mean, I'm sure your night went similarly. I know you were out partying. So the Knicks are champions. Bryce, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I mean, I don't know how I could be doing much better. Last night was a movie. I wish the cops weren't such hardos. Like, I mean, I understand with
you wanted to smash more school buses, light more cars on fire.
Well, listen, they said there was a God. I can't make this joke. There was this shooting in Times Square supposedly. For all I'm concerned, I mean, it never happened. I got away with it. So I mean, it's
that's funny. That's a good joke. I think you can make that.
Thank you. No, I mean, I told it funnier earlier. No, I mean, I to experience that. I saw like a bunch of people that I know. I saw some people that I knew from camp, from some of my favorite camper. If you see this, Hayden, yeah, he's the man. I was like, no way. And like being in that mindset and like just having so much love and happiness. Like you're happy no matter who you see. Like I saw some kid I hate. And I'm like, oh, hey, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like this whole group of kids and I have beef with one of like, I'm friends with all of them. And then there's one kid I have beef with. And I was like, I sucked it up and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And then as I walked away, I'm like, no, I mean, dude, I mean, it was just such a great experience to be with like-minded, crazy psycho people. Yeah, I mean, I really still don't have the words to describe this. And I don't know when it's going to kick in, but Rami, I mean, I know we've got a whole slew of things we're going to get to right now, but I think just to get the sentiments out of the way, last night was special and we'll always cherish this. And on Thursday, man, I already took off work, I feel bad for you, even though you're in a good spot with that.
I'll be there.
You're done at 10. Yeah.
What time does that start?
At 10 o'clock.
All right. So I'll probably be out by like 10:45 because yeah.
That's good. I mean, at least you're not working the afternoon show. At least you're not working the midday show.
Yeah, 100%. So I'll catch up to whatever they're up to. I'll start drinking probably the second I'm done work and then make my way over to the parade. So yeah, it actually works out well for me because our show ends at 10. I don't know if like Boomer or Greg have any interest in going, but I don't care.
I feel like Gio would.
I feel like he would too. I'm gonna ask him.
I saw his stories last night.
Yeah,
seemed pretty happy,
dude. He was way more into it than I would have expected, and I know he loves the Knicks, and he's never seen a championship from any of his teams, and so I know that this means a lot. But still, like he was emotional, which I didn't like. I expect him to be excited, happy. I didn't expect the emotion to come out the way it did when I saw him Thursday morning after the OG tip in. Like he was so fired up still the next morning. So like. That's what I expected. I expected like the fired up, but he said it well, and he said it, and I saw, I think it's Jeff Eisenbaum or Eisenblatt, something like that. Eisman or whatever. I wish I got his last name correctly, but he said it's his quote was, "I'm not better than sports. Like this is something that it's a little child in us. It's something that we've all felt, and I think all that emotion came out last night. I was FaceTiming with my father. We were watching Brunson and his dad on the set with the inside the NBA guys, and we're watching their reaction. It's just all that stuff is so cool. I must have sent my father like 19 different videos and links today, like at least, and we've been texting back and forth. But like that's what's special about it. It's because there's nothing like sports that could bring out the inner child in you. And now we get to drink. So it's like the best of both worlds,
I know. And there's just it's such a deep feeling, I think, in all of us because of all the pain. You know what I mean? The trauma hits deep. And for a lot of Knicks fans, that kind of defines their fandoms. And I think, from speaking for myself, like, Knicks are number one. I think it's clear to anyone who knows me. They always have been, and they always will be. So this type of pain, it transcends what sports seem to be from the outside looking in. Like, it's just sports. You know what I mean? Like, it's not life and death at the end of the day. Of course not. But when we talk about things that we care about the most, when we talk about, especially for us two working in the industry, like, what means the most to us, like, I'd say the Knicks are near the top of the list. So that's why I think for a lot of people that meant so much last night, and why you see a guy like Gio or most people essentially break down in tears, because this is it's an emotional thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, and my wife had the camera on me, and I was, just hearing Mike Breen say it also, because at that point, once they're coming up the floor up 4, they're winning it. But just hearing Mike Breen, and I've heard the call now probably 400 times, no joke. And I've been listening to Fan today, and they're playing it in and out of every break. Like, I've heard the call so many times already, and it still makes me emotional just hearing Mike Breen say it, because it's awesome that it's him. It's awesome that it's him on the call. It's everything that's been this team. And let's get into the team a little bit, because they're so special. They went 16-3 in the playoffs. They didn't face elimination a single time. Every time they had a chance to close out a series, they went on the road and pounded the other team. Yeah. And then the game last night was so perfect because 2 reasons. One, this team, I think what they've built, the way they've stamped their legacy, I think, over the last few years, is these come from behind wins. Is that, hey, we're never out of it. And if you let us linger, we're going to snatch it from you at the end. We're going to make all the winning plays at the end. And that's what they did last night. It's another one so perfect that they were down 10 in the fourth quarter. And then who is it? It's Jalen Brunson. And to me, he's gotten to the point where with 7 minutes to go, and RJ saying it, you need 2 points a minute if you think about, or a point a minute if you think about it. And Jalen Brunson alone goes on a 10-0 run. It's like,
I know.
And that was it. And it was over. And he got to the point where when they were down 7 or 8 with 7 minutes to go, I knew he was going to do it, because he's gotten to the point that only very, very few athletes reach, which is inevitability. You expect it. That in the clutch, he's going to come through every single time. You're shocked when he doesn't come through. And honestly, he now has cemented himself as maybe the most clutch athlete in sports today.
Yeah. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say at all. At all. I mean, when you look at everyone else, when you look at across every sport, like, what guy do you trust more? What guy do you trust the most to have the respective ball, puck, whatever in their hands? And it's Brunson. Like, a guy steps up to the plate. Like, I don't know any baseball player that can come through in the clutch like that. I don't know any basketball player. And that's what matters at the end of the day. And I've always said this with the Yankees. Like, you look back, and both of us were too young. I wasn't even born yet. But you look back at those old teams. Yeah, you had your top heavy guys. You had your Don Mattingly's, and of course this is after him. You have your Jeters. You have your Bernie Williams. You have your Paul O'Neills. But it was the guys at the bottom of that lineup that really came through in those big moments. I know Tino Martinez is one of the top players, but how many big home runs did he hit? Scott Brocious, Chuck Knobloch, Jim Leyritz, all these guys at the end of the lineup. Like, clutch players win you championships. It's at the end of the day, you need those guys to win. Like, how many times can you pay James Harden hundreds of millions of dollars for him to not show up in big moments? Aaron Judge, people love to say, oh, he had such an amazing playoffs last year. Well, what did it result in? A loss to the Blue Jays.
And then think about even the greatest players, though. Who hit the 2 biggest shots of LeBron James's career? Ray Allen and Kyrie Irving. Like, and that's no shade at LeBron. LeBron's the greatest athlete we've seen in the NBA in our lifetimes. And yet he doesn't have the 2 biggest shots of his career. When you look at Jalen Brunson and his legacy, and we'll see where that goes, it's going to be with his fingerprints all over every single play of him making the biggest shot. The layup on Wemby where he gets him completely just off balance and then lays it up on him off the glass. Like, that's the moment we're all going to remember from this championship.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Of course, along with the OG tip, like
yeah, the
obviously.
OG tip, and then the Mitch offensive rebound. Uh, so many different plays, not only throughout the entire playoffs, but those series weren't even close. So you
And
can't look at them and like
but
there
when you
aren't
think
that many
about this run,
plays.
like
Yeah.
none of those plays are possible without what Brunson does in the fourth quarters of these
Yeah.
games. Like
100%.
and
100%.
and to me, he's now at the point where because he's an underdog story, also like second round pick, bets on himself, comes to New York, takes on the bright like his story is everything you dream of as like rooting for. Like he wanted to take on the crowd. He wouldn't even clap back when they talked about, are you a 1A? Would you say that? He didn't want, he's like, I'm definitely not clapping back now. Like I have nothing left to say. And like, that's awesome. And by the way, him taking less money, maybe the greatest financial decision anyone has ever made. Of $100 million pay cut is going to pay him tenfold because he's now a New York a champion with the Knicks. Like he already had that partnership with Michelob. He put up the post today, the first sponsored post of many, him celebrating with Michelob, the number of ads, Nike and all the different, and obviously he's going to get the next max from the Knicks, but
Yeah.
he's going to be living off this championship forever and deservedly, because when you think about his legacy in this city, for us, obviously he's number one, but like, how do you not, you look at Willis and Clyde and that's it. Those are the only two that are even in the conversation. When you look at him in the NBA right now, like I understand there might be better players. You could look at Luka, you could look at Jokic, you could look at Giannis. Who do you want with the ball in their hands in a late close game? I'll take Jalen over any of them. And isn't that worth more than the great player? And by the way, in this series, he has the offensive rebound in game one. He has the steal in game two. So there's the intangible plays. That's not just offense. That's defense. That's clutch. That's everything. I mean, I'm not telling you he's the best player in the NBA today, but he's certainly the one I want on my team.
Yeah, 100%. And the type of player that he is, I think really represents the city of New York. And that's why, I mean, listen, he won a championship for the city, but he's always been beloved. But like that underdog story, the guy was always counted out, the guy was always overlooked. He represents just everything that this city is. And for him to come here, to be that guy, that, I mean, it's still insane to me how that happened. The Mavs offer him if they offer him a contract worth $10 million a year, he's with the Mavs. And they probably would. I mean, they might win a championship with that team, with Luka, and after those trades they made, with getting Gafford and all them. The fact that he doesn't get offered a contract, gets overlooked to that point, and then gets this deal that ranks him whatever it was, 13th or 14th in terms of point guards and the money that they make, or 10th or whatever it was, and people were calling that an overpay. And within a month of him being on the Knicks, you're like, maybe we have something here. Maybe this is obviously no one expected this, but like you realize like, okay, this is a little bit of a steal. And then of course, as time went on, and then we saw it in the playoffs, the clutch, and then, against Philly, and you're just like, oh my God, this guy has this clutch gene. You have this guy that could potentially win you something. And then you obviously start to think big picture, and it's like, what do we have here? And again, like this is just the type of person that this city really represents. He represents everything that this city is. And I think that above all else, what stands out the most to me, and will always stand out the most to me, is how likable this team is. All the personalities they have, all these guys are likable. They play the game the right way. And, you figured that like when the Knicks ever got to this situation, everyone hates all of New York teams. Like it's just how it works. Everyone envies the city of New York. And you just figured like, all right, everyone's going to hate the Knicks. Everyone's going to be hate watching them. And it turned into the opposite, where the Spurs are always the team. They've always been the team that everyone's like, you know what I mean? Like, like Tim Duncan, like, I feel good for them. Like they play the game the right way. And now it's like, Wemby's the most beloved player in the league, and now he's one of the most hated players in the league, because part of the reason, of course, was him. But at the end of the day, it's also because the Knicks are a likable team. Yeah, it's insane to me.
It's crazy. You talk about the New York aspect of it, the wherewithal that Jalen had when I don't think he knew that it was going to be on every Instagram and every TikTok video of this team and every edit, but him saying, I have all those things, but they can't measure heart. Like, just him saying that, the fact that he himself said that, like, is unbelievable, because he's truly exemplified that. But let's talk about Wemby for a second, because there are a couple other things I want to hit on Jalen and this team. But you mentioned Wemby. He was exposed in this series, not only as an athlete, because I do think as the series went on, the Knicks kind of figured him out a little bit on the defensive end. Like, they weren't as afraid of him. They were calling him into the actions. Like, they wanted to go at him, which was crazy. But what's crazier is he was beloved. Like, everyone was like, there's this new face of the league. Everyone loves him. I don't think it's just Knicks fans. I think everyone who follows basketball and watch this series sees him as arrogant and dirty. Like, he was arrogant in pre and post game, and he was dirty on the court. And no, he doesn't shake their hands. He just walks off at the end of the series.
Shocking.
After the series, he's FU to the media. Like, he exposed himself, and I wonder how the conversation is going to change. Like, if I'm Adam Silver, I got to get him in my office and be like, hey, you're supposed to be the future face of this league. You can't be doing this. Like, we need you to tighten it up. I think he would have been, it doesn't matter now. I think he would have been suspended for a game 6. I don't know how the league could have not.
I mean, that was absurd. The fact that they don't call that in real time, like, Brunson could have broken his ankle on that.
100%.
And that's the second time. The heart went in the
Jalen
corner
was
the
limping
before,
after the game. Like, so again, none of that matters, but it's just a piece of this where, like, you exposed a guy who now I think there's going to be a very, very different conversation around Victor Wembanyama moving forward, at least for next year. At least,
I mean, no one's going to question his greatness. Everyone's going to know that he's probably the best basketball player in the world come next year.
But capable of it.
Dude, but all that, like, like the lovable aspect of him being different. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't, with the blue light glasses, the fact that he doesn't go out, party, drink, like, after 8 o'clock, like, off screens, goes right to the hotel room, goes to sleep. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that whole aspect of him, like that aura, I guess you could say, and I use that in air quotes, the aura has completely vanished.
Yeah, well, it becomes corny when you're missing free throws in the biggest moments of every game. And by the way, he missed 3 of them in game 4. Everyone remembers the 2 in a row, but he missed the third one earlier in the fourth quarter that would have extended the lead at that point. He misses 3 there. He misses last night. The jumper that he had, he loses the rebound to Mitchell Robinson. The offense lets him get the off. It's just, you can do all that stuff when you're legitimately great and at the top of your game. When you're doing that and you're being corny and dirty, and then you're also failing in the biggest spots, and then after the game you're still trying to, like,
I know, dude, it's insane.
You're still trying to clip farm where you're like, this is the biggest learning moment of my career and I'm going to grow from this. Shut up, dude. You
know who he reminds me of? And, like, with all due respect to him, and he's a champion, Kyrie Irving. Like, one of those people that, like, thinks they're above everyone else. They're a genius. No one knows what they're talking about, but I do. I think Wemby's smarter than Kyrie, but there's this arrogance that comes off, as you said, from Wemby. Like, it just oozes off of him now. It makes no sense to me that, like, the second he's put in a spot where he is losing or he's not getting his way, he comes across as childish and bratty. And, like, he's been a guy his entire life, and he's the first one to tell you he's had privilege. He's never grown up in like needing to prove himself. You know what I mean? He's always been that guy. He's always had the advantage of being the tall guy and, more athletic. He's always been peppered. You know what I mean? And now, like, to be in this spot and he loses. First off, he celebrates that win against the Thunder like it was 5 championships at once. He celebrated more for that than the Knicks won for their championship.
Yeah.
And then he goes out and lays an egg in all of these games. And, like, there were the answers from the Spurs, and we've all seen them. They've been highly criticized about, oh, well, we were the better team. We gave the games away. We dominated this series, but the Knicks just beat us at the end. Like, sure, there could be some truth to that, but not going out there and acting humble. Like, I get it. At the end of the day, like, everything's PR trained, and, you hear it a lot from GMs and head coaches. Like, they come out and they're humble. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, they gave us their best. They're a very talented team. Like, that's what you do. And there's a reason why, because you don't want to get clipped. You don't want to look like an asshole. Wemby did not follow any of that. You mentioned, like, Adam Silver needs to get him in his office. Wemby doesn't give a shit. That's his point. And I think that that's his new thing now of, like, he's like the bad boy. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to listen to anyone. He's going to go out on his own. He's not going to, I don't need PR training. I'm going to do whatever. Like, it's just so
Yeah,
funny
but if you're going to do that, you have to win.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
You can't be the smallest guy in the biggest moments.
Yeah, like last offseason, he's going to China. He's hanging out with monks. And it's like, oh, this guy's this guy is amazing. I love this stuff. And now this offseason, it's almost like he's becoming a villain. Like no one gives a shit what you're going to do this offseason. Maybe train with Dirk. You got to figure out some post move or something. He's got to figure out something, man.
Yeah, I mean, that part I'm less worried about. I'm not worried because I think he'll evolve. He's so talented and so skilled already that he will evolve to become a great player. I just don't know if he'll ever escape the villain, because you can't be as like such a jerk and also arrogant and cocky, and then at the same time fail in the biggest moments. So I don't know if he escapes. And again, that's a conversation that I don't give two shits about, honestly, because
who cares?
He could be a villain his whole career. I don't care. Go be a villain. Go keep being a loser for all I care. Back to Jalen for a second. You think about the small guards who have been the best player on a championship team, and the list is really short. Like, he's a solid 3 inches shorter than Steph Curry, and Steph Curry has something different where he's the greatest shooter ever. Like, this is going back to like Isaiah. That's how great it. Like, Iverson couldn't do it. You think about some of the greatest point guards ever. Chris Paul never won it. Like, and now you have a small guard who was the best player on a championship team. There's very, very few of it. Like, only Isaiah, and that was the Bad Boy Pistons. Like, they were a team, which is similar to this team. But like, when you think legacy, right now he has one. If he gets a second or a third, and you talk about the clutch aspect, and you talk about him being a small player on the best team, like, his legacy, not just in the NBA today, but all time, goes up to one of the top, players ever.
Yeah, and Rami, I mean, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first time, and it was going to happen either with the Spurs or the Knicks, which would be invalid and after, because Wemby's going to win an MVP. But this is the first time, I think, since the 2004 Pistons that a championship roster doesn't have a current or former MVP on it. And this is just a testament to the team aspect in just, I mean, listen, like this example epitomizes what you're taught as a kid. You know what I mean? Be a team player, go out, know your role. And Jalen Brunson has been the centerpiece for that. And he has established, along with the coaching staff and other players as well, being selfless, but he's established this culture of just putting your head down and grinding and trying to win. It's the mindset that took over this team. The mindset that led them to this point. That's how we're here. It's 0-0. Like, you just know, like, and like, you could tell when it's the corny, like, oh, like this is manufactured. This is like a contrived narrative. You know what I mean? It's like, he's forcing it. Look at this. It wasn't like that with the Knicks. It never was. All those guys had the exact same adopted mindset. Like, every single one of them had this exact same messaging. And it's a PR trained. Like, they all wanted to win. They were going to do whatever it took. And it wasn't just seen in the locker room to the media. It was seen on the court too. Because once you buy in, once you're locked into your role, and you're confident in your own game and what you do and what you provide your team, you know that it's not just fake. That what they're saying after the games, before the games, during the games, in the interviews, like, you know that that's not contrived. It's not. It's real. And that's largely, I mean, you gotta give credit to Jalen Brunson for that, to bring that mindset. And Rami, let me say one more thing about Brunson, is that listen, he's obviously, like, it's always been the thing for Becky Hammond, to everyone, it's impossible to win with the small point guard. He's built like a linebacker. Like, I saw him tweet this, like, he's there. Like, I think that it applies to point guards that just can't play aggressively, like in the post. Like, Brunson plays like he's 6'8". You know what I mean?
Yeah, but again, he's still a little guy. He's still not quick enough. He's still not fat. Like, all those things still exist. And by the way, you mentioned the team aspect of it and Brunson being the leader. Well, how perfect is it that in the closeout game, Josh and Mikal were the two, like, guys who played alongside him, who had the most point. Like, Josh hits the threes, Mikal had a bunch of big jumpers. Like, that's awesome. That just goes to show you that they put so much into how they built this team. And that's really a credit to Leon, because he went out and got players that he believed are can buy into this mindset and will be championship type players and will have a sacrifice for the team, not fornicate for 10 weeks above all else. Like,
James Dolan and I had the same conversation. I said, yes, sir, Mr. Dolan.
Oh yeah, exactly. I didn't fornicate. Actually, all right. Anyway, there will be lots of beautiful children born in New York after last night, though. That's for sure. Not in my household, but probably.
Oh, come on. You're okay, Unc. Come on. What are we doing?
Yeah, I'm not that old. But Leon trading for OG, that's a move that you just thought he's a winning player. He's a guy who Toronto didn't want to give him the max. They were like, hey, we kind of don't, or whatever it was, the contract that he qualified for. We don't want to give them.
Here's the thing, though. Like, they keep him like, yes, OG is the best two-way player in the NBA, like best 3-and-D player maybe ever. But like, what are they winning?
What if they kept him and Siakam?
What are they winning? They still
need again, it's just something to build on.
Dude, Jesus. The two of those guys, like being like ultimate wingman on really, really good teams. Like,
right. Exactly. Yeah.
Damn.
The cat trade, which was questioned, and Leon believed in him because he was his, he was his agent, and he believed that he can get him in the right mindset. And ultimately he did. The shrewd move to get Shamet on the G League draft day. Like, there are so many moves that he made, and obviously bringing the teammates together. 5 first-round picks. You're never going to hear again about 5 first-round picks from Miguel.
Crazy that we can shut that up now. It's amazing.
It's over forever, for good. Like, fuck them picks forever. And Mikel saying it in the press conference. And then all the way down to guys like Jose Alvarado that are just, and credit to Mike Brown, because his adaptability to not just every player, but every game. It was never the same closing lineup. It was never the same guys. Hey, I'm going to try this today. I'm going to see who gets hot. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try and tweak the offense this way. His adaptability was something that was incredible, that was worked in perfect harmony with what Leon brought in all these players who can contribute on any given night. And then to me, and I don't think there's enough credit given here, we talk so much about how the Knicks were the battle-tested team and the Spurs were the young team in this series. Yeah. Well, where'd they get those battle tests from? From Tom Thibodeau. And I was upset when he got fired. It was ultimately the right move. I was wrong. Mike Brown was their 18th choice to become head coach. He was the right choice. And amazingly, he was the right choice. But they were battle tested because of all the stuff that they went through with Tom Thibodeau. And they had that hardened mindset because of him. I hope he's somewhere proud today. I hope he's happy. I hope he speaks to the guys. Like, yeah, I really do.
Because we had our morning show that I usually work for NBA Radio, had Taj Gibson on, and Taj said he spoke to Tom, and I actually have to cut the clip on that, and I'll tell you what he said when I cut the clip. I didn't hear it yet, but he supposedly spoke to Tom.
I'd love to hear it.
I will. He spoke to Tom, and I'm sure at the end of the day, like, it's rough for him. Like, obviously, you don't want this to happen. It kind of is like the worst thing.
You want to be the one hoisting the trophy.
Exactly. And it's just a bad look because what everyone said about you ended up being true. And I was pat myself on the back. I was right about it all along. I didn't love the Mike Brown hire because it felt like it was their last choice. But Rami, I think why they ended up hiring Mike Brown throughout the entire extensive interviewing process is I think that he committed to being adaptable, to listening, and to actually changing on the fly, making adjustments. And I think at the end of the day, Dolan and Leon Rose heard that, and they're like, this could be the guy. This is what we wanted, right?
Because if you talk about team, if all you're preaching is team amongst the players, then it has to go up to the coaching staff also. And their elaborative effort together, collaborative is the word I was looking for. I said, but their collaborative effort together is what made this team and what made this run. And like I said, it's a historic run, 16-3. When you take you zoom out, the finals felt every game was really close, and they were down by double digits in each first quarter. But at the end of the day, they dominated. They were after the 2 losses against Atlanta, they go 15-1. Like, that's ridiculous.
If only Trump didn't show up. God damn, it's just so funny.
Yeah, just the one game. Amazing.
Everything he touches turns to shit. But yeah.
I have like one other thing. So Mike Breen, I'm just so happy for him.
Yeah.
Because him being there and calling it, and I saw 2 different interviews, one with Monica McNutt, one with, I think it was like Pix 11 or whatever, but just him talking, and he keeps talking about the team and he keeps talking about the guys, and he's happy for the fans. He won't make it about himself, but you know how much it means to him. He sounded like his voice cracked a little bit at the end of game 4 when he goes, I don't believe what I just saw. It's so special for him to be on this, like, him calling the last few games, I think is so special for us because you've met Mike. I think I may have told this story on the podcast, but the first time, and it was not the first time, but I was already working in media. So it was the second time I met Mike Breen. I was on the court at Madison Square Garden after the game, and security's kind of ushering us out, and we're walking out one of the exits of Madison Square Garden. And then but I'm lingering because I see Mike Breen at the corner all the way across the room, all the way across the court. He's going out the other exit. And I guess he saw me waiting and like trying to inch towards him. He puts down his briefcase and walks across the court.
Really?
And holds the security guard off. And I had no words. I was just like, oh my God, what do I say to him? So before I could even say anything, he sticks his hand down and goes, Mike, nice to meet you. What's your name? Like immediately diffused the situation. Then we talked for like 5-10 minutes just about career and industry. And he obviously was on the morning show at WFAN for years. And I talked to him about, trying to make it. And I had not yet moved to New York. So I was talking about moving to New York, and he stood there and talked to me for like 5 to 10 minutes. And it was just the coolest interaction ever. He was so cool. And so for him, a guy and he keeps saying he's blessed beyond what he deserves. You're not, Mike. Like, you deserve this. You've been a part of this, and he's that good of a person and that great of a broadcaster. So this means so much for him. And I'm thrilled for him.
Yeah. And I've said this recently because I've tried to be more grateful for things in life. It is such a blessing to have him call Knicks games on MSG for us and Clyde too. But the fact that, in my opinion, he's the best basketball play-by-play guy in the business, and I don't think it's close to have that. And usually this is the case in New York. You've got every sport, it's like that. You know what I mean? Like Gary, Keith, and Ron, the best.
Even the Nets have a great broadcaster, and
Ian Eagle. Yeah, it's just like it just happens. You know what I mean? That this is how it works in New York. But no, I mean the fact that we for 60 games throughout the year could turn the TV on, could turn MSG on, and just listen to Mike Breen. And yeah, I mean, I definitely echo everything you just said about him. Like, I feel so great for him. You could sense that he had that final call right in the chamber. He had that one ready to go.
He talked about it before the season. He said when a team gets to 3 wins, he usually starts not to script it, but he starts to think about. He said he waits till they get to 3 wins in the finals. But he said then he starts to think about what his call is going to be. So he didn't lie about it. Like some other broadcasters, Gary Cohen, Michael Kay, like to lie about them premeditating calls. He didn't lie about it. He said before the series, he said, if they get to 3 wins, I'm going to start thinking of some stuff. And I thought it was perfect. Like, I think he was also talking to himself. You know what I mean? I think that's such a big part
100%. The little kid came out in him because he's always been a Knicks fan.
It was awesome.
And you're right. He didn't make it about himself, and obviously he wasn't going to. He's a broadcaster, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, he's also has to stay impartial, and he did. And you still see Spurs fans on Twitter like, look at this guy, look at the favoritism. Come on, that's what you take away from that?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, he was just as excited for Spurs.
Guys like John Smoltz calling Yankees games. Like, you're telling me that Mike Breen calling the Knicks game is partial? Come on.
Yeah, the bang that he had in what was it, game 3, the bang on the Castle 3 or whatever it was, that was a huge 3. Like, he was just as fired up for them. They just didn't have as many moments. Sorry. And by the way, the Clyde commercial at the end, like I posted it on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it. The Clyde Mickle, unbelievable stuff. That was the first commercial after the broadcast. That was the first break, that first commercial. So that was perfect. I always think about like Clyde having to record that before they actually won the title, which is like if you believe in jinxes, don't anymore. And then the other thing you mentioned, being grateful. I talked at the beginning of the podcast about how I knew Brunson was going to do it. With 7 minutes left, I knew they were going to win. And I really felt that way. But I was so frustrated at the officiating and not throwing Wembanyama that I had to like do breathing exercises to calm myself down. Like, I want to enjoy these 7 minutes because I know what's about to happen. I know this is Brunson. This is winning time, but I need to enjoy it. I can't be furious about lack of calls and different things. Like, I had to calm down and eat my first pizza of the night just to like.
What are you talking about? Pizza? Like, we're talking about like 16. I
no,
cannot
they
get
were
past
smaller
this.
pizzas. Yeah, there was.
Okay, so
I
like
made
frozen pizzas.
No, I made them at home.
Oh, you made? Oh,
I made 2 pizzas. Yeah.
Okay, that's last night.
Yeah, I made one like during halftime, and then I made one after the game because I was like, "Oh, this is all." I was just watching.
Do you have an oni, or do you make it in your oven?
No, yeah, my parents have the uni, which is incredible, but I did it in the oven. They're just like, because I did it with fresh mozzarella, so you don't even need to like cook it that long with the mozzarella. You just need to kind of broil the top to get it bubbly. Whatever's perfect. Okay, question for you, and I guess we'll finish here unless you have anything else. To me, and I'll lay this out, I think the Knicks are in a perfect position to run it back next year. Yep. And I know that's like a little bit in the future, and we're still enjoying this and we're going to have fun at the parade. But just think about this. I think the 2 spots you can upgrade, and I love what they did. And obviously Mitch has the huge offensive rebound, but he was really not great after the Philly series. And obviously Alvarado has the huge game 4, but I think you can up what you saw from Alvarado in game 4 is that you need a secondary ball handler next to Brunson. So I think if you upgrade those 2 spots, the backup center that's just really cat insurance, and you upgrade the secondary ball handling next to Brunson, I essentially run it back with the same team because here's the thing. We saw an evolution of Karl Anthony Towns into a really good defensive player and a great playmaker. Can he now couple that with an aggressive offensive game and bring those 2 together and then take his game to a whole new level? Can the consistency we saw in the postseason translate to the regular season? And I talked about Mike Brown tinkering every game. Maybe he finds a closing 5 that works. Like maybe he finds something that we're not tinkering every game. The slow starts they had in every game in the finals. Like, to me, there's so much they can improve on. We talk about different guys stepping up on different nights. What if everyone clicks at once? To me, they won a championship, and we haven't seen this team ceiling. So running it back with a couple of tweaks, I think this team can win again, and I think it's special. I think we could be talking about back-to-back this time next year.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the report, probably from a month ago, that it appears that Landry Shamet and Mitchell Robinson are going to be back, and if they want to get them back, they're gonna go into the second apron, and they're not going to be able to do anything. Essentially, like they can't.
But still, you talk about developing Huckporty and Kolek and DOR. Like, there's so much more that you could get out of this roster. To me,
well, DOR. I mean, that's the big wild card in all this, because if he's good, you don't have to worry about anything else. But you get those guys back. Mitch probably lost himself a few $1 million down the stretch.
For sure,
like,
but I still think
can't hit free throws. No one's paying you more than $10 million.
If there's a desperate team that overpays him, that needs to kill cap space, like, I'd let him walk.
Well, I mean, listen, these reports, oh, they might be back. Well, they've been relatively correct. Like, we heard this about Hartenstein. You know what I mean? Hartenstein, we knew from the start, was not coming back, and everyone held that hope, please, and he didn't.
Yeah, but you couldn't pay him as much as he was going to get elsewhere, which ironically, maybe you could pay him that much this offseason. Nah, probably not.
No. And the Yankees just won, didn't they?
Yes, Volpe made a nice catch. Volpe in this game just earned himself 2 more years of playing every day without being allowed to ask Boone any questions. So that pisses me off. Ben Rice, superstar.
Every game that he plays well awards him 600 more games. So he's got 3,000 games left.
Exactly. Of goodwill of him. He's going to be the starting shortstop well into his 50s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's gonna keep starting.
Old Timers Day. Don't worry, he's gonna develop. He's gonna develop eventually.
He's gonna participate in Old Timers Day and the actual game.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and he's still gonna have a 200 career batting average.
Oh, let's hope he doesn't get invited to Old Timers Day at some point.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So no, I mean, just to think how far we've come, and I think for us, the fact that we started this podcast and to experience, we started it and then immediately after had this unbelievable run, it's a good sign. It might be from us.
But we knew it. We were so positive. I said they're going to the finals. We were pretty, you less, but I was pretty positive. And I
was positive for me. I was very positive.
The only 2 times I got negative after Hawks game 3 And after, like, when they were down 29, again, and I said this last night on the live stream we did. I don't know if you were there when I said this, but when they were down 29 in game 4 against the Spurs, I was very frustrated. Those are the only 2 times this entire run that I was even angry. Like, that's how fun this has been. And it's special. And that's why I think, like, I believe who's better than them in the East? Like, do they
Indiana
face
has
OKC?
their number.
Yeah. You know what? Beat Indiana. That'll make this even better. That'll be a cherry on top. Next year, beat Indiana in the playoffs. Like,
you obviously have Boston, and like obviously there are a lot of question marks about what
they've beaten Boston. They've beaten Cleveland. They've beaten the Sixers. Like, what else do they have to prove? I'm actually curious. I'm sure FanDuel has the very early odds for next year, and I'm sure they're probably the favorites to win the East. I don't know if they're the favorites to win the championship. I'm going to look that up real quick.
No, it's definitely OKC.
You think OKC is? Yeah, that 100%. Makes sense. OKC 100%. Got hurt. Like, when you look at it,
San Antonio.
All right, you ready for this? Because this is crazy to me.
I knew. What, the Knicks are 5th?
They're 4th.
All right, it's okay. OKC, San Antonio,
the Spurs, Boston. The Celtics, and then the Knicks. The Celtics are plus 600. The Knicks are plus 750.
They fucking love Boston. It's insane, dude. They were still favored to win the East. It was going into Game 7.
I love
Philly.
This. I love this so much.
The Knicks.
Keep doubting us, you fucking pussies. All right, that's probably as far as I'm gonna go today.
Listen, why are we getting all uptight right now? We've got a lot of.
No, I love this. I love them. Keep doubting them because that's what this team is fueled on,
dude. And like I went back and like that.
I hope to see the qualifiers and all the people talking about how they didn't play anyone real and whatever on the stupid ESPN shows tomorrow. Ugh.
So I look back.
The Spurs were too young.
Do you remember the anonymous player poll that The Athletic conducted, and how 147 players, whatever the hell it was, and not a single person picked the Knicks?
Yeah,
idiots. Yeah, so it's shocking. Like that level of doubt.
Yeah.
For that.
But that's what's great about Brunson is that's exactly what fuels him. Like, that's literally what fuels him, and that's why, like, go apply to your dream job, go follow your dream, go. Ask that girl out, whatever it is in your life, because that's what he makes you believe. It's a lesson not just for sports, but for life, for everything. It's awesome.
Yeah, and very inspiring stuff. A lot of it's amazing to think like how many people are just thrilled and happy. And I had to walk outside to make sure that I was still alive.
Yeah, to make sure this is real.
Seriously.
I'm gonna go barbecue and
I wish I could.
Until I fall asleep.
God, I wish I could barbecue. I got a cast iron. See, this could be one of the best days of my life if I get this right. I got a cast iron pan, and I'm like, I'm gonna make these crazy steaks with the marble, whatever, like the whatever, the crust, whatever.
Yeah, of course.
Every time falls off. There's no
crust.
It's been terrible. I don't know what the hell to do.
So I'll tell you, I personally like I know cast iron is supposed to be the thing, but I like the steel. What's it called? The
stainless steel?
Stainless steel for steaks. I get the best crust with it.
I don't know. I mean, I usually
because you don't touch it until it'll automatically like remove itself when it's got a full.
That's the same. It's the same with that, but still, I don't understand. But we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it, and let's. Good luck. Listen, if I get that down, this could be one of the best days of my life.
Seriously. Well, it should be pretty good as it is. I'm excited for tomorrow morning.
That's gonna be fun. I'll be tuned in. I'll be tuned in.
Yeah.
When I wake up at 9:30.
You'll listen to the last half hour.
Yeah. I'm gonna make my return to WFAN maybe this week. I was gonna go last Friday.
Well,
I gotta talk to Sean.
If you pull up before the parade on Thursday, then I don't want you to have to wait for me though. So
yeah, I'm not waiting.
Yeah. So
no, not happening.
So maybe if you pop in. All right. Let's go Knicks. This has been fun.
And listen, also we got a fun, like we're gonna still do some good content throughout the summer.
For sure.
We got a lot of good stuff. Yeah. We got a lot of good stuff. We have some ideas.
Have guests. We'll talk about this and a whole lot
this
more.
Isn't the end, guys. I mean, as much as it feels like the end, it's not the end. We still have basketball. We're not even talking about this right now. We're not doing. I'm just saying, like, do not, I know everyone's been locked in. My content's been doing well because everyone's locked in. But like, we'll
keep it going.
We still have. Listen, Rami and I are just in the inception. You know what I mean, of this podcast. So we've got a lot of time here, and stay tuned. We got a lot of fun stuff coming. But Rami, Knicks won the championship.
Knicks in 5, dude. Forever.
It's fucking insane.
Jalen Brunson
Really
forever.
All right, man.
All right.
Let's go Knicks. And can't believe this is my life. Smiling through it all. Goodbye.
See ya.